Welcome to Modern Entrepreneur. I'm Landon Ray, and today I have Holly Chantal, who is the president of the Land of the Brand, where she's branded over 200 coaches from startups to seven-figure industry leaders and trained thousands more to create brands that people notice, fall madly in love with, and tell their friends about. Whether you know exactly what makes you stand out in your industry or ache to have someone who gets you to reflect back what you can't see yourself, Holly can help you with her gloriously simple method of uncovering the brand-worthy nuances at the heart of your work and accentuating them throughout your marketing. Whew! Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So you work with coaches specifically,
yes,
to help them create their own brand. Isn't it funny that coaches need coaches?
I know. You wouldn't think that, but it's anytime you're building a business and needing to differentiate yourself, you're going to need branding, so it works.
So how long have you been doing this?
8 years.
8 years. And you know, let's just like zoom back to 8 years ago, 9 years ago. What piece of advice would you give yourself that would have made this whole thing easier?
First of all, don't make it so stinking hard on myself.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah,
don't make it so hard.
Don't make it so hard. When I started, I was right out of college, so I, felt like I had a lot to compensate for because I didn't have, I didn't have all the years of experience, and just having confidence that I did have value to offer, and just not making it so hard and thinking that I had to do so many things to be official, and really just getting myself out there definitely would have made a big difference in the beginning.
Yeah, what were the things you did that you think were a waste of time?
Not going after a market that I was really passionate about. I kind of went for the low-hanging fruit, or what I thought was the low-hanging fruit at first. Didn't work out.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
I thought you were going after like the safe school.
Yeah.
And you didn't even get in. Exactly,
because they didn't see the value in the services. It was just, I felt like I had experience. The market I was going after before was direct sales, and that's what I had experience in before.
Sure.
And apparently they're not really into branding.
Okay, makes sense. And so then what had you shift? I
shifted when I started meeting more coaches. That was really who I've always wanted to work with.
Interesting.
Because the passion that they have and the drive that they have to make big changes in the world, I just wanted so much to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And the idea of building the business of your dreams, like I feel like that is just so there for a coach, and that's always been what's driven me. So going to conferences and being in mentoring groups with other coaches, they were, listening to my advice, and I realized that, I really did have something to offer. So when I shifted my marketing to coaches and began offering my services to them, literally within 2 months, I was booked solid.
It's funny how
going from 0 to booked solid in 2 months, just from focusing on the people that I was really passionate about.
That is really interesting. So, what is the unique kind of skill or talent that you feel like you bring to this whole endeavor that helps you succeed?
So my superpower, because I help my clients find their superpowers, is that I activate powerful people. So being able to talk to someone and kind of see them on a very deep level, like what makes them so good at what they do, like what is the magic that they have inside of them, and then how do we bring that out and communicate it so that their clients can see their magic. So when you do that, it activates them, like they have this light comes out within them, they get more confident, they are able to communicate their value so much easier, and that's what I really do.
So, and what's working right now for you in your business that's that some of our viewers could maybe implement in theirs?
I am really big on being authentic, obviously.
Yeah.
So really sharing from an authentic place, and just being yourself. Like that has really worked for me. I've built a very strong following of people that have fallen madly in love with the Land of Brand, and that has allowed me to take 2 year-long maternity leaves with my babes. And when I say year-long, I don't mean like I sat on the couch for a year, but being able to work very minimally just to maintain the status quo. The only way I would have been able to do that was through the following, the brand that I had already created, because I wasn't really out there marketing myself for those years. So that is just, I wish everyone would do that because it would just make things so much easier.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to remember the guy's name right now. I feel like it's Nate something. He started CD Baby, which is a company. I don't even know what's happening with that company now, but they're very early in the kind of like independent distribution industry for musicians. They help musicians direct sell their stuff over the internet. And he talked about kind of like finding your tribe. And he said that any musician can make a living by finding 500 superfans.
Yes.
And it's interesting because, you know, I'm doing a lot of these interviews, and it feels like, I don't know, 30, 40% of the people are sitting up here saying, like, it's all about being authentic.
It is.
And it's interesting because I'm not sure that before, for example, social media and our ability to communicate so widely and reach so many people, that would have been true, because it would have been hard to find those people. But now that we have this reach, you know, it's possible kind of for everybody to find 500 superfans, it feels like. Do you think that's true?
To a point. I think a superfan is someone that like they get your work on a really deep level versus just being a admirer, which I think is what happens on social media. And I think what happens, because we're really putting ourselves out there in all these different ways, and we're following all of these formulas, we're following what we're learning from others, and sometimes that is fabricated. Because we're following a formula, we're following templates that we're using from other people based on what worked in their business, because that's their personality. Yeah. So it's really important that you take those and you put your own spin on them. So it's kind of like telling you to be yourself in your business. It's like, don't think of a pink elephant. First thing you're going to do is think of a pink elephant. Put a camera on someone, they're going to start acting weird. Yeah. Like, you become a different person in your business. So I think that's usually one of the first steps I take with my clients is, who are you? Like, how do we get down to who you are, how you show up, so that you can kind of recognize what is authentic to you, because most people don't know. Yeah. And then once you know that, you can really begin to bring that into your business. So it's almost like you have to take a step back and see what authentic is to you before you can really be authentic. Yeah. Do you think you can teach everybody to be authentic on camera? Like, Facebook Live is so hot right now. Yeah. And but I feel also like you know, a lot of the people that come in here and talk about Facebook Live are like the most charismatic people. Right. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm super introvert. Like. Yeah. But you know. But I've gotten better. I've through practice. So do you think you can that it's a tool for everybody? Yes, I think with practice, it definitely is. It's not natural for everyone. I used to be one of those people that would get really weird on camera, just because, you know, I'm very shy and introverted. And you know, what I used to tell my clients is practice in the mirror, like with a British accent, or just something that is. So what happens is when you do that, you're distracted by the accent, and you're no longer thinking about how weird you look. Yeah. And you begin to get comfortable. So it's almost like, by intentionally being weird and watching yourself be weird, you start laughing at the accent instead of, oh gosh, you know, my wrinkles or my hair, and you begin to realize that no one notices those things. Right. You notice those things. So it's definitely something anyone can do, but it takes practice, just like anything in your business. Yeah, that's a good thing to remember, particularly around video. This guy, a friend of mine, Brendan Burchard, is, I think, probably the best on camera that I've ever seen, and on stage that I've ever seen, in terms of somebody who can kind of just like be present and like wing it, right? Like, he literally will do an hour long, like flick the camera on and go for an hour, and it looks like it was like, you know, unbelievably perfectly scripted and acted and like must have been edited, and it's not. He's just got like this gift on camera and on stage.
And but when you ask him about like how, it's overwhelming how good he is, right? And you're like, I could never. But when you ask him, he's like, you can never because you never did, right? Like you don't know about the the 3 years I spent spending 3 hours in front of a camera every day, like getting used to this and so maybe you're right. Maybe it is just a matter of practice, and we got to realize that just being on camera is a skill that we can learn.
Yeah, it was just like anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like anything. So good. What are you working on then? What's the skill you're working on right now?
So Facebook Live is something that I...
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I just stole your thunder on that one.
No, just really, sharing more, being introverted. Like I put a lot of my heart out there in my message, but I don't always put, myself out there a whole lot, and that's something that I've been working with ongoing. And I think it's important that we remember that there's always going to be self-development. I remember someone saying, I don't remember who it was, but being an entrepreneur is like the fast track to self-growth. Like you are going to constantly come up against your own barriers. So that's something that I've been working on just recently, was that particular barrier of, that people do want to hear about, what's going on with my kids, or, what I'm doing in my personal life, and not just the advice that I have for them in their business.
Yeah, interesting. It's like half business, half entertainment anymore.
I know, definitely is.
Yeah, weird. So what are you up to, big picture here? What do you want your legacy to be? You got obviously years to go, but do you have a sense of what it is that you're building here in the big picture? Yes,
so there's a TED Talk, I want to say it's Matthew Riley, if anyone wants to look it up. He's an EMT in New York, and the TED Talk is about him being there with people in their dying moments, and how they all say the same 3 things. And all those 3 things tie to regret. And my personal mission is that I don't want people to die with those kinds of regrets. Like I want them to live their life to the fullest, like focusing on what was important to them. I don't want them to miss their kids growing up because they were so focused on building their business. I don't want them to not make the impact that they wanted to because they were too afraid. Just all of those things that flash before you in those final moments, I want to make sure that they know that they lived the life that they were meant to. So that is my legacy, and my way of doing that is by helping these people build their businesses in a way that allows them to have everything. Myself, I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I could have grown my business exponentially by now, but I chose to kind of take things slow, kind of maintain the status quo so that I didn't miss those moments, and I will never regret that. Yeah. So, I want to make sure that, as we build our businesses, that we're making sure that we're focused on what's important to us, and that's one of my main focuses with my clients.
Great. So, as a modern entrepreneur, somebody who's building a business in this moment in history, we have all sorts of unique opportunities that are available to us. What do you think those are, and also what do you think the responsibilities may be that come with those new opportunities?
That's a big question. So, I mean, with social media and technology, really the sky is the limit. Like we just have so many resources at our disposal. And I think that our responsibility is to make sure that as we raise the next generation, that, we're not getting too lost in the technology and that we're still making those personal connections. And I've noticed, on my decades on this earth, because obviously I'm very very aged, is that growing up we've moved from being very close-knit communities to expanding to this online world, and then now we're kind of contracting again to where things are becoming more and more personal. And I think it's just important that we maintain that, and we make sure that our kids are protected in a way, like we were when we were kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel very responsible for that. I know with my kids.
Yeah. Awesome, Holly. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank
you. Would you sign our wall?
All right.
Thank you.